And we back.
And we back.
Now we said one more again.
One more time.
You better not.
One more time. God has gathered us together. One more time. Yeah. Say one more time. One more time. Yeah. God has gathered us together. One more time. Walk with me.
Welcome back, everybody, right there, man. Y'all, we just heard an A selection from the good brother, second son. That is second with a K-S-U-N.
Right on, because I am Carolyn's second son.
I had to go and leave that intro, man, because you know.
This is my good brother.
I go by the name of Barleen, man. They gave me that name, man, 21 years ago. I've been going by that, so that's what it is, man.
There you have it. Welcome to the Walk With Me podcast series, and as y'all can see, family, we are in the press box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you're in YouTube world, go ahead, do the kind gesture, hitting that subscribe button, so that you can be fully aware of every time we pull up, man, and get ready to pull out the information, pull out the big guns with the facts, you know. Subscribe, like, share, and tell somebody to tell somebody.
Please do.
Walk with us.
Walk with me.
Hey, it's been a week. How your week been, my brother?
Everything been peaceful, brother. Peaceful. You see what I'm saying? Everything peaceful, copacetic. You know, we got 10 toes down and making sure, you know, we keeping our immune system up, because as strong as the immune system is, that's as strong as the mind, body, and soul can be. That's just what it is. You see? So we, you know what I mean? We're doing everything that we can to stay on top of that issue. You understand? And we like we say, we transmuting words, and we talking about no Rona, K-N-O-W-R-O-N-A, meaning we just need to know so we can know how to move. And that one way of moving, like we saying, is staying on top of that immune system, making sure, you know what I mean, you doing your due diligence on, you know, making sure the body gets, of course, plenty of water, stay hydrated, and then, you know, behind that, you know what I'm saying, making sure you are consuming nutrients and minerals.
You got to have your vitamins.
You see? So your like we saying, your whole immune system is on point. Then, at the same token, the spirit man gonna be on point to lead you and guide you in a righteous way.
Because if you're sick, if your body is sick, then your mind is gonna be right there with it. You can't go to work. You know what I'm saying? Money don't mean a thing to you. You can't go make none if you're sick.
All right.
Your whole move, man, is about nothing but healing. So why not stay on top of it and get in front of it? You know.
How's it been looking for you this week? You know what I'm saying? This is 325, mind you, people. By the time, you know, you see this in, you know, another day or whatever, but this is 325. This is what they call hump day.
Yeah, how the song say, man? I won't complain.
Okay, there it is.
Won't complain, man. Everything, like you say, copacetic, man. We steady moving, staying active out here. Right. And that's what we're gonna do, man. Just thankful and grateful.
Staying in that mode. Therefore, we can, you know, attract positivity. As long as we're on that vibration of being thankful and grateful, you know, and making it our business to stay keyed in on the good. You know what I mean? No matter how it may seem or look, you have to dig deep, family, and go into your secret closet of whatever you do. You see what I'm saying? And find the motivation to stay on top of this thing, man, right now, because this is definitely spiritual warfare at its finest.
You better believe it. You better believe it, man. The number one thing that the enemy has always used is fear.
There you have it.
You got you scared, man, you ain't no good to nobody.
There you have it. One of those the enemies of God. That's the Antichrist.
Amen.
Fear. You see? Yeah, that's not godly.
They can't exist in the same space.
There you have it. There you have it.
And I'm to the point where myself, this is just me personally, but the whole religious concept that they taught us was to be scared of God.
Right.
That don't sit well with me.
Never did with me either, bro.
I don't fear nothing but God.
You
scared of yourself, Bucko?
Yeah, you see? Do you really realize what you're saying?
They mixed us up with that one.
For real. Because you can even relate that to fatherhood. You know what I mean? Being a father. I've always said that I don't want my children to be scared of me, because if they scared of me, it might be a conversation that we need to have. You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
That this fear of, well, I don't know what daddy gonna think or what he gonna say. Me personally, you see what I'm saying?
It's true.
I've always made it my business to keep that line of communication open with my children, and it's never been that what we would call that dictatorship mentality or vibration or frequency there. That's what that is when you're talking about fear me. When I walk in a room, you want pins and needles. You see what I'm saying? And you're my child.
Right.
That don't make sense. When I walk in a room, you should feel comfort. You should feel protection. You know what I mean? You as my child. Yeah, that should be in my eye, like you said. It didn't sit well with me either, brother. Young, I'm talking about young. That concept never did sit with me well. Like, huh? I need to be scared of him when he's the provider.
But I know why they put that out in there and push that on our heads like that, because the same shit you just said. If it's something that we scared of, the questions that we read in that good book, that holy book, right, that make us scratch our head, we don't understand. When you start to ask questions, people bat you down and tell you, you know what I'm saying, don't question God.
Yeah, right, got you.
You know, so now we scared to ask questions, or we scared to challenge how we were raised, or often the religion that we were raised. We scared to challenge it because this God that's in the sky is looking down and gonna punish us if we don't believe some bullshit.
Right, got you.
You know, so I get that part too.
But and again, that never made any sense. And then, you know, of course, when we go into the whole book, you know what I mean, what we call the Holy Bible, we'll find instruction in there that tells us we don't have no business to have fear. But again, the only way that you can get in that frame of mind of being fearless and living a fearless life, you see what I'm saying? There's a specific, remember we were talking about this machine, this grand machine that the divine intelligence, you see, has made for us. There's a specific way that it runs. You remember we said that, family? You see? There's some specific oils and rules and laws that you need to abide by and obey in order for you to stand on law. You see how that works, family? Stand on law, meaning you are God. You in your God body. You in your Godship. Now, when you stand under law, meaning you understand, you see, under law, then that's when the sickness set in. And fear, of course, is something that encourages this whole process right here, as far as you not being able to realize that you are God and you have specific laws and guidelines about you that makes you up to be a God, that you, when obeying them, you see, you benefit from the godly lifestyle. Now, on the total opposite end of that pole, you see, the law of duality has it to where, you know, where there's good, there's evil, or where there's good, there's bad. You see? So what we're saying here, where the fearless power is, on the other end of that pole is the actual fear. It has to be fed. You see, family? Each one of the ends of these poles is supposed to have balance. That's the whole key. and a part of the whole, what we say goal in life is to live in mayat, in balance, in harmony, you see, with nature and with the universe and these laws that the universe has set out for us. When you obey them, you see, you bring the balance in to where fear, of course, doesn't rule this other end that's fearless.
Ain't no power in fear. Ain't no power in fear.
You see? You're powerless.
Speaking of power, you know, that's why we are gathered in the moment that we are to continue to dwell on these right here.
The 12 Powers of Man series, we got it going on.
Again, go to Amazon, go to a black bookstore in your city, and it ain't even gotta be a black bookstore. Tell them you need the 12 Powers of Man. You can get online and get this book for probably $10. And it's one of your spiritual tools that you're gonna really need. If you're saying that you are on a spiritual journey, if you're saying you woke, if you're saying you are a godly person, if I said I'm finna be the coldest basketball player in this region, but you ain't never seen me with a ball. You ain't never seen me at the park. You ain't never seen me at the gym. So something ain't adding up. So if you want to be on this path, then you got to get the necessary tools, you know what I'm saying? And one of the tools that we do have is books, you know what I'm saying? You got to put the time, you got to put the time in. You got to shoot jumpers in the gym in your mind, you know what I'm saying, with these books. So let's dwell back off into this, man. Last week when we left out of here, if y'all noticed, if you watched that last show or any show, I just want to say thank you first and foremost.
Absolutely.
But we was in here running this so tough last week, got sidetracked, and they looked at the camera and it cut off on us.
Out of there.
So
we were going in.
Yeah, so we're gonna pick the ball right back up and take right back out, man.
Where we dropped off was, you know, now that we got it patched all back up, was we were right there at the point to where we're speaking about this the operation of specifically how the body operates as it relates to the 12 organs, the 12 major organs of the body. You see, because of course we're tying them in with the 12 powers of man, where there's a power for each organ, for each major organ. There's a power, and we're wanting to get the best out of this machine. So we're trying to highlight the fact that the blood, you see, to now we're talking about the human body, of course. Obviously, that we're talking about the organs. The blood is the foundation, you see, of this machinery. The blood is pumping from the blood pump 12 different directions, going to 12 different departments in the body. Now this blood, inside of it is cells, you see, and the blood doing a 360-degree circulation again from your head to the sole of your feet. Your blood is pumping, is rotating in a 360-degree motion. You see, so meaning that this blood is touching every organ in the body. You remember we said that the brain, you see, one of these major organs, one of these 12 major organs, the brain itself, this is what they telling me now. Look at this, family, how it works. Book of the Human Body. In this book, you see, just one of them, you know, I mean, you can get any book that relates to the human body, and it's, you know, has literature in there telling you how the body works. It's all going to tell you that the brain has billions of sales in it alone. You see? Billions with a B. You see? So once again, when we talk about the 12 powers of man, and we know that the brain is the concept of the central banking system because it houses the central nervous system. That's where your central nervous system starts, in the brain, and then it connects down to the rest of the body. Again, going through 12 different departments or divisions, connected to 12 different, well, 11 other different organs besides the brain. You see? So the most important part here, once again, is the blood.
I know it was the blood.
You see?
Hey, they were saying, when they were singing their song, they was really on the song.
Exactamente. Exactamente. Like we said before, those old ancient religion, what we call the old time religion, those type of songs right there. Give me that old time religion. Those songs all carry symbology in them, and the symbology of them all was, like we saying, relating to the body.
But it was lost. It has been lost, and to be simplified in ways where we think that we are talking about the blood of quote unquote Jesus that we are pouring in our little glasses every third Sunday,
and not ourselves.
And not ourselves.
Exactly.
I always say this, man. I look at the book like any story you read, any book you read, you go, or movie you watch, you see a character in there, you be like, that's me.
Yep.
That remind me of me.
Or that's who I want to be.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with the Bible. Like, why not try to be the star of the movie?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I understand why people really don't want that role.
Right.
Because in the end, he had to die.
More than like, yeah.
He had to die. He had to hang on the
cross.
cross.
Himself. Yeah.
People don't want. Everybody want to go to heaven.
Right.
Don't nobody want to die.
Because there's power in death. We got to know that, but that's a whole nother conversation.
But while we on that conversation,
okay,
let's pay respect and honors, man, to one of our greats.
That's right.
In our community, you know what I'm saying, of knowledge, consciousness, health, blackness.
Yes.
The brother Laila Africa.
Yes, the great
doctor.
Yeah.
To those who are familiar with him, then you know the contribution that he gave to the community as far as his literature that he wrote, the health books. I got several DVDs, and you can go all on YouTube and really take you a 12-hour course and come out a better person just off of his information.
That's right.
So he transitioned amongst the ancestors, man.
Dr. Laila O.
About 2 days ago.
Yeah, I believe it was on the 22nd. I believe so.
Sound about right.
Yeah.
And I said I was thankful for the honor, man, to be able to be in the same space and actually hear him teach. You know what I'm saying? So that was a good thing. That was cool several years ago. Go check him out, man. Again, we pay respect. And we dedicate this show to the brother, man.
To God.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I know for sure that we'll be in honor of him for sure. We'll be doing a melanin show because we got that book, so we can come out of it just like we coming out of some sort of 12 hours, man. Because it's very important to know the powers of melanin. It ain't no game, family. You know what I mean? We just, you know, my melanin is popping, and you know what I mean. It's easy for us to, you know, start these, you know, little slogans and, you know, mantras or whatever, which is good because the word is God and it brings on a vibration or whatnot. But we really need to know, like, again, see, the melanin, and you know, if you've been rolling with us, that you've heard that word, and we've mentioned it already since we started this 12 Powers of Man series. Because, again, the pineal gland is what produces it, you see? And if it, being the melanin, has this, you know what I'm saying, where we get our rhythm, you see what I'm saying? Where we get that, where we get our rhythm from, and where we, brother, you know what I'm saying, dig this, you see what I'm saying? Hey, brother, what's happening? You know, all of that. All that is the melanin, you know what I'm saying? All the way connected to the creativity. Because you know that the melanoids, the so-called black people of the world, are super duper creative, you see? And again, that's why we want to definitely give honor to the God. You see what I'm saying, Dr. Leila of Africa, because he reiterated on the fact, you see what I'm saying, throughout his workings, throughout his teaching, you see, throughout his contribution to the family. He constantly drilled on, you see, the fact that it's a certain way that this melanin worked, all the way to how he would highlight the fact that artificial lighting, you see what I'm saying, is a part of killing the melanin. Mm-hmm. Artificial lighting, and of course cocaine. He was specifically talking about cocaine and all of the hard drugs, you see what I'm saying, etc. A lot of that Xbox and, you know what I'm saying, PS4 with the babies. He reiterated on the fact that how, you know, spending too much time on that is killing the melanin. So yeah, we'll definitely, you see what I'm saying, come in with a, we don't have to do a series on that, because that's like, yeah, that'll be a show. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, like the melanin show.
Within the last, let me see, I say within the last 5 years, Dr. Sabi was pushed to the forefront of a lot of people that didn't really know who he was.
Right.
Well, he was kind of new to everybody, damn near when he passed.
Right.
But Dr. Africa, to me, is the only other person like Sabi.
Right.
You know what I mean? As far as teaching health at that level.
Yes.
You know what I mean? For that long.
Mm-hmm.
So
one is a scientist, and that's Dr. Leila Africa. Peace be upon him. And one is a naturalist.
Facts.
That would be safe. Peace be upon him. Yeah, because you know Dr. Africa, you see what I'm saying, would of course teach against the cannabis. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And consuming the cannabis. So that's the scientist in it. You see what I'm saying? But Sabi, the naturalist, of course, you feel me? He reiterated on the fact of how that's, you know, it's spiritual as well. Of course, depending on the tribe you come from. That's just really what that boiled down to. And of course, what you smoking and how you smoking.
Yeah, and Sabi was a big smoker himself. Yeah. Y'all didn't know that. Yeah. And they always say how marijuana, it kills your
brain cells.
Not that.
Oh yeah.
Your sperm.
Oh yeah.
And you know, but hey man, Sabi was having babies in his 70s, Jack.
Right.
Having babies in his
right.
70s, so
yes sir, in late 70s.
That's a bunch of people. That's a bunch of people.
Yeah, you gotta do your own homework, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this, you know, as it relates to the body. And again, going back to the blood, that's an important part of the lesson as well, because the blood is what feeds your cells and vice versa. You see? And if your body is made up of trillion, that's what they're telling me, trillions of cells. You see, family, get this now. These 12 major organs all have cells. You see? You have skin cells. You have bone cells. You see what I'm saying? You have lung cells. You have brain cells. You have kidney cells. You see? Liver cells. You see how this go? Cells in each department, because they have a work to do. Remember we said each cell is like an individual brain. It thinks and operates for this specific department. Now again, if you are feeding your bloodstream anything of a devilish nature, you see? And when we say devilish, we mean low vibrational. We do not mean no man up under the ground with a pitchfork making you do something. You see, that's not what we're talking about. Because that's you. You that man. It's your lower self. That's who it is. And you have control of the devil. You do. Because the devil is attached to you. See? We got so-called white devils. You see, we got so-called black devils. You see, ain't no, you see what I'm saying? We've advanced, you see, family, in our spiritual knowledge.
Because you have control over the devil.
Period.
Because the devil, if every time me and second son get together I go on the deep end, then to me, I should say I don't need to be around him because I'm gonna go on the deep end. If me personally, every time I go to the club over here, I go on the deep end, that's a place that I don't probably need to be at. Or every time I do something, a devil can be a person, place, or a thing, or just a thought. So every time I succumb to something that I know is gonna bring me down, that is a devil. A devil is what in your mind and in your life that's gonna cause you the most turmoil. And devils can how they say it, there's a devil in a blue drip. Man, devil is what they say, man, the greatest trick of the devil was convincing you the devil didn't exist. Because if it's in your own head, it's gonna be hard for you to identify something that feel good, look good. You know what I'm saying? But the results always end the same. So you got to look in that mirror and figure out yourself why are you in the same spot. Because if it's on a high frequency, then you're gonna be moving forward. If it's on a low frequency, high as in heaven, low as in hell, high as in godly, low as in devilish, you're gonna get those results of your surroundings and the actions you put out to us. That was the kiddie game, blaming the devil on something. Nah, that's you, partner.
Period. You see what I'm saying? And like you said, you need to pay attention to the results. Because, again, insanity is when you keep doing the same thing. You know what I mean? I assume you're not expecting no different results, but that's what insanity is. When you keep doing the same thing, you some kind of way, foolish way, think something different gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. That's not how this works.
Every person I know either is or has been insane.
And you see?
Everybody I know.
Every human being, that's part of the being, the journey.
Yes, sir.
Because again, we walking through this journey in cycles of 7. You remember? You see? Remember we say family? You from the time you're born to you're 7 years old. That's a stage right there where you're supposed to be growing and learning. You see? From 7 to 14. You see? Now, like we're saying, you at 14, you smelling yourself. You liking the opposite sex, etc. Then from 14 to 21. You see? Your spirit man has this same cycle, and it's supposed to, you see, it's supposed to mature and grow just like we do as natural babies, you see, to be from a newborn to what we call an adult. But watch this, family. It's possible, you see, for what we call adult to still be stuck in that first cycle.
True.
Some will be still stuck in the second cycle. Meaning, what are you saying, brother second son? This is what we're saying. You can be 55 and still thinking. Remember, think. How you thinking, that's how you're going to act. Remember? You can be 55 years of age and still be thinking like you 12.
And we all know somebody just like that.
And of course, we know that the issue is there's some childhood trauma. You see, one thing that our community it's imperative that we get serious about, because this next generation, our babies, see, it's time out for babies growing up still having to deal with their traumatic childhoods, but they're having to deal with it without any type of therapy. You see? And again, we know, like the good brother said, in each one of our families, we got this family member that's an adult, but just the way they responding to life, just the way they responding to life, period, like, man, he's still, or she's still dealing with that, you know what I mean, that childhood trauma. And why are we saying this? We're saying this because going back to the 12 powers of man, or not going back to it, but that's where we are. We stand right on topic. You see? It's impossible for a human being, you see, to benefit from these 12 powers, and they hadn't dealt with childhood trauma. You see how that's working, family? You disqualify yourself because somewhere along the lines we know that this family member that we're talking about, or family friend that we're talking about, that's of age, quote unquote, but just the way they're not acting, they're acting really immature. And if we're talking about their personal life, how they, you know what I'm saying, deal with finances or whatever it is, you see what I'm saying? We can find this individual, but in finding them, you see what I'm saying, it's important for us to deal with this fact that the truth of the matter is they need some healing. And the only way the healing is going to start, family, is if we do what? We admit that there's a problem, you see. Now, that's on the individual, of course. We can't make nobody be who they don't want to be, you see. But all we saying here is we have to, you know, look at this lesson from a holistic point of view, because we don't want to, you see what I'm saying, we don't want to mislead anyone. We don't want anybody to think that, oh, I got 12 pounds of man, they say over there on Walk With Me podcast, you know what I mean? And yeah, it sounds good, it feels good, and I can just jump out there. No, it ain't, you can't, you see what I'm saying? You can't do that. You got to make sure, as it relates to these 7 cycles, you see, that our spirit man supposed to develop in, you got to make sure that, you see what I'm saying, those cycles is on point. Like you're not behind. And the only way that you can not be behind is you got to do the physical work. Because the physical work is going to translate into the spiritual side. And the spiritual work, of course, is dealing with what we talking about here, literature. Pick something up. You know what I mean? And of course, it's going to have to start with you admitting that you need to get yourself better. You know, you need to dig deeper. You see what I'm saying? It's something more in life that you want. You know what I mean? And you know that you deserve, but you're not getting it at this point. You already know, okay, it's something I need to go back. You know what I mean? I need to dig deeper. And this is what we're talking about here. You know what I mean? Right now, as it relates to this lesson or this series, the 12 Powers of Man. Because there's a lot of truth telling. You have to tell the truth. You know what I mean? You can't be stuck in an illusion and living a lie. You see? And when we say that, we still talking about childhood trauma, because a lot of us, let me exclude myself once again. A lot of my people, you see, because I deal with people, man. You know what I mean? They talk to me. I always have. A lot of us, a lot of my people, excuse me, will attempt to excuse the abuser because the abuser might have been mama. The abuser might have been daddy or granny or grandfather, you see what I'm saying? Or big brother, big sister, whatever. You see what I'm saying? The abuser might have been that person. So I've observed within our community, you know what I'm saying, or our bloodline, you see, that attempting to excuse the abuser only makes matters worse. You see what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, going back to what the good brother was talking about how we both said, you know, having a fear of God, it just didn't resonate with me, you see? So a lot of times, this childhood trauma that we're talking about is connected to a parent a lot of times, and sometimes a grandparent, you feel me, or auntie, or, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times I see that this comes from like adopted homes, like the baby been through these, what you call them, group homes, you see? I see a lot of that as well. But I still have seen it like within, you know what I mean, these people own families as well, you see what I'm saying? To where I guess you're trying to excuse the individual because, you see what I'm saying, you don't want it to be them, or you didn't want it to be them. You see what I'm saying? I guess that's what it boiled down to. But again, the lines of communication is what's broken down here to where we can't heal because the baby can't talk to her mama. That she, you know what I mean? The son, he can't really talk to his dad because the lines of communication been broken. And now we go back to this political science project from the slave plantation fields that broke up the family unit to where there would be any lines of communication. You see, to where again, when father walks in the house or the room, the baby should feel security and protection versus, oh my God, I hope he's not finna go off.
And also, but also reverence.
Yes.
Because that is missing in the current time we live in right now.
Yes.
And it goes, we can take tracing all the way back to what we're talking about in what you just said about when we was in our state of slavery. And I don't know why people, man, for whatever reason, white folk don't want to talk about it at all. But it's some black folk that say, well, hell, I wasn't here back then. That ain't got any shit to do with me now. I've heard this. But the effects of it are big as I don't know what. Again, you get the biggest, strongest man out there, and you break him down, you beat him, the men have sex with him in front of who? The woman and child.
Yeah.
So now, the protector of the tribe has just been humiliated and had his whole manhood stripped.
Yes.
So after this goes on and goes on and goes on, now the man is walking around with his shoulders drooped down because he know, damn, my people just seen me. I can't protect shit out here. So that goes on and goes on, and it's passed down from woman to child. Because now, again, she going to teach her child automatically. Go through the back door, don't look at them folks, don't say nothing to them. So that's fear right there.
Yes.
Be scared. Be
Yes.
very afraid.
Yes.
And
that's the breakdown.
that's the initial breakdown right there when it started.
Yeah.
Then we can fast forward just a little bit more. When we did have each other strongly, family, and I'm kind of deviating from a little bit of the subject matter, but it's very important to know how we lost the power, respect, and reverence in our homes. And it's because it was by a plan.
Yes. Yes.
And that plan was, not only did they take away the manhood, they took away the God, and they took away the way we worship. I'm bringing it all back in now.
Yes.
How we related to God when we was, a black nation, an original people nation.
Right. Got
all mixed up when we were captured and held as prisoners and given a God that wasn't ours. I just wanted to interject here.
Yeah, because that's definitely. Yeah, I mean that's the important part of it because that's the major breakdown to the communication part of it for sure. You see what I'm saying? Because again, the religious part of it brings in a lot of trauma. That's just the fact of the matter. Of course, this form of religion that we got, and see, this is very important for us to deal with this right here. See, because this religion that was, of course, I'm gonna say, just tricked. You know what I mean? On my people, it was tricked in you. It was a tricky way of getting in you. But where it came from is important. Where it came from was from a emperor that ordered for his wife to be boiled in hot oil and ordered for his mother to be murdered. The Roman emperor, Constantine, you see? Again, history, science, and law has to be dealt with all at the same time, or else you're doing yourself a disservice of trying to crack the code. You see? This Roman emperor, again, Roman, what is the name of the people that killed Jesus? What's the name of the people, family, that killed Jesus? They called them what? Romans. Correct?
Come on.
It was the Roman nation, correct, that put Jesus on the cross. Thorns in his head. Let's go with the symbology here. You know what I mean? Because we know good and well that no, this is not physical, but this is definitely symbology. We got that, family? Symbology in this story. Okay? Keep in mind, Roman law is what ordered for Jesus. Roman law is how he got murdered. Now, if the Romans and a Roman emperor, you see how we going with this? If the Romans were the people that killed him, you see, now how is it that you think it's safe to take this narrative that this Roman emperor that had his mother and his wife, let's just say both of them killed, murdered, he murdered both of them. And what's the key here is they don't like women, family.
Come on, man.
They don't like women. You see? You get that? Ordered for his, let me, you see what I'm saying? Because I get excited when I get, you see what I'm saying? I get really wired up when I go into this part of our history. Because it's very important to me. How could a people, you see, fall for this goddamn snaky, you see what I'm saying? And when we say snaky, we not talking about the kundalini. We talking about this poisonous type snake here. You see? How could you take up their religion when this religion, they don't like women. They like little boys.
And this is a prime example, and this is really kindergarten level of shit I'm about to say, but how can you have
we need it all.
the Holy Trinity
See? Come on.
without a woman?
Work it out. Go ahead.
The woman is not in this picture. You got a father, a son, and a ghost.
Come on.
And that makes up the Holy Trinity
So disrespectful.
to the woman.
So disrespectful. You see? Thank you. Because again, this whole religion that we, because I got to include myself then, because hey, we all had to go through it. Period. Even because it's psychologically damaging. That's the whole key here. You see what I'm saying? Going back to the first 12 powers of man that we started on, imagination. See, this messes your whole imagination up when you thinking, you see what I'm saying? That this religion given to you from the enemy. These people, again, Constantine, he ordered his wife and mother to be murdered, man. Come on now. That's obvious. They don't like women. See? They don't like women. They like little boys. So what's important here? Where are we going with this? The same entity, you see, that shoved this perverted version of religion down my ancestors' throats, you see. These people, you see what I'm saying, is the same one that you're going to pledge allegiance to? No, because look at this now. This spirit of not liking women and liking little boys, can't you see how that has worked over the church? I was raised in the Church of God in Christ, the what you call the holiness church, Pentecostal, you see. The dress, when we first started out, when I was a little one, dresses down way past your knees. No makeup.
Yeah.
No makeup.
That's my cousin.
No earrings.
That's
No.
what my
You see,
cousin did.
you see what I'm saying? I'm talking about that denomination. And what am I saying here? There's a lot of children that have come through that denomination and have been molested. You see? That's facts. Ain't no if and buts about it that have been molested. I'm talking about little girls and little boys. These goddamn reverends coming through these babies' houses. You see? A lot of them are what you call PKs. They preachers' kids. You see? And they have to, this perverted man that's coming to run a revival for their dad at church got to stay at their house and touch on them. See? Where is this coming from? We saying that the spirit is coming from the Constantine, the Romans. You see? The spirit, the spiritual entity that, again, shoved this Roman form of, this Babylonian form of religion, this perverted version of religion. Again, like the good brother said, you gonna take out my mama and you talking about a holy trinity? How you gonna take my mama out? That's how I got here. I was formed in her womb. You was formed in your mama's womb. You see? Listen, ain't nobody disrespecting daddy at all. We know that daddy carried a magic stick. That's what the ancestors called it. The magic stick. That they said that stick will go in her and then, whoop, 9 months later, they done made magic.
That's where 1 + 1 = 3.
Exactly. You see? And ain't no ifs, ands, buts about that. See, now we're talking natural law that can't be perverted. Because we know that 2 males cannot produce a child. Two womans, you got 2 women, they cannot produce a child. All we say, ain't nobody knocking nobody lifestyle or nothing. We're not saying that you grown, do what you do. But what we're talking about is there's an obligation for us to teach law. You see? And bring it to life. And again, this Roman emperor, Constantine, you see, and the Romans is where we get our religion here in the wilderness of North America. And again, they don't like women. See, again, in the church that I was raised in, they sit the woman down. Now, of course, it's 2020, so yeah, don't quote me on nothing. I don't know what they're doing now, but yeah, I ain't.
And F movement
participate.
The F movement then came in and switched a whole bunch of shit up with that. You know, when I say F, you know what I'm referring to?
The feminist movement?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I figured that's what you were saying.
But we got to remember, though, how he's saying they don't like they damn women. You know why the feminine fucking movement got legs?
Man.
Because of the treatment of the white woman.
That's right.
Not the black woman.
That's right.
The white woman was just like the nigga.
Teach.
She couldn't vote.
Teach.
She was, and I don't know if it was us saying this on the show or I was on Trap Talk saying it, but I'm gonna say it again. She was like property.
Yeah, I think.
As far as her relationship in the house and in the world.
Yes. Yes.
What was the slave master doing? He was going down there making light skinned mixed babies.
Yes.
You know, and the white woman had to deal with it, so she don't like your ass either, nigga.
Yes.
That movement ain't our shit, man.
Exactly.
That ain't our movement, man. That was her way to finagle and try to gain her some respect and find a way that she could get back at the devil and her man. And her man. And the way to do that is to use us as pawns. You know, give us a few little old crumbs and trinkets and a little light, and now we think you know, they like us now. Nah, we just been played as pawns. You know, on the ultimate chessboard of life, man. And we are, again, the first kings and queens.
Absolutely. You got to know this.
And it got to be in the mind. Your mind, man. I just want to look down. As I look down what I'm reading, and I'm gonna say because I just said what I'm gonna say to look down. I'm on
63.
Zeal and enthusiasm. But when I said what I just said, that we were the kings and queens and whatnot, so I look down. It says, "Let us think of man as a king, having 12 sons or princes who execute his will. Each of these princes has a throne or brain and nerve center from which he issues his orders and distributes his goods." Now,
that's good. That's good.
It goes right back to what you were saying when we first started. Come on, man. When we first left off, when we first started.
12 different departments in the body. 12 major organs in the body connected to these 12 powers. Each department, like it says right there, let us think of a man as a king having 12 sons or princes. You see? Meaning, let's think of man, because again, it's your spirit man. Your spirit man have 12 babies, sons or princes, you see, who execute his will, you see? Meaning again, listen to that. You don't want your sons and your princes to be scared of you so they can execute your will. Going back to, you see what I'm saying? Your willpower. You see that? You got to have some willpower, meaning you got to know who you are. You know what I mean? Ye are gods. Again, you got to know who you are to even, you see what I'm saying, exercise your will. Each of these princes has a throne or a brain. You see how we just said that about the cells? Each cell has got an individual brain. Same scenario, family. And there's trillions of them. You see? That's important. Each of these princes has a throne or brain and nerve center from which he issues his orders and distributes his goods. Goods, family, not evils. You know what I'm saying? Goods. You know what I'm talking about? So the good brother, his eyes fell up on the gold, man. Y'all see how the spirit moved?
come on.
He just set it off. That connects everything together again, just like we do. You see what I'm saying? You got to have the ability to discipline yourself. That's where it starts. And again, when you've adopted the enemy's ways, you can't tap into none of this. All of this is null and void. You see? It ain't even no use you discussing no 12 sons or no 12 different buckets. You ain't even, you see what I'm saying? You done gave it up to the man.
You can't even get to this channel
At all.
You can't.
You stuck.
The books, the shit that we're talking about, you can't even hear it. You're not even on the frequency. It's really that deep. You know what I'm saying? It's really that deep. Wherever your mind goes, your body will follow. So if your actions are not in line with righteous movement, then you are not going to be on. You can't even find us.
You can't find us.
We in a whole different chamber that you don't even know exists until you find it in your spirit to begin your path. So I want to just say, everybody that's out there that can hear the sound of our voice, you here for a reason, and you here because the vibration has brought you here. You know, everybody's not going to be here. That's another thing I always say. Everybody can't go. You can sit there, man, and talk till we blue in the face to somebody, but if they not on the level, that's not my problem. I got to know when to let go.
That's right. And that's a lesson. That's a lesson that one has to get. That's it. I see where you are, because we in the book of Zeal. This is the name of this chapter that the good brother just his eyes led into. Zeal, enthusiasm. That's what zeal is.
I turn back another page, baby, bro. It say, "Let your zeal be tempered with wisdom. The zeal of thy house hath eaten me up," means that the zeal faculty has become so active intellectually that it has consumed the vitality and left nothing for spiritual growth. One may even become so zealous for the spread of truth as to bring on nervous prostration. Take time to be holy. Turn a portion of your zeal to do God's will to the establishing of his kingdom within you. Do not put all your enthusiasm into teaching, preaching, healing, and helping others. Help yourself. Now that's a lesson that I had to walk personally through, and it wasn't an easy one, and it wasn't something that I could just master in 30 days. That lesson right there took me 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. Maybe 2008. From 2008 probably till 2013. What's that, 5 years?
Yeah.
It took me almost 5 years to learn the lesson that I just spoke about in Zeal, because when you look at Zeal, then you get the word zealous.
Yes.
When I came off into the information, that light went off in my head, and man, I was so on fire.
Yes.
You know, with the light,
yes,
that I thought that I should go out and tell everybody,
yes,
and let everybody know something that I had just newly discovered, which was new to me.
Yes.
But this is information is thousands of years old,
man,
that has been lost in the time. So, man, I would go, I would just tire myself out. Now that I look back, I would just be mentally tired and frustrated and want to throw the towel in because ain't nobody listening, don't nobody hear this. Like, man, I'm like, yo, y'all stupid, y'all dumb. How the fuck y'all, what the hell, y'all? All this here, man, to the point where I was overzealous and using all my energy in trying to let people know in truth and in fact things that I can show you. It's not my opinion. I can go back and show you. I can teach you this, but everybody's not ready for that. You know what I'm saying? And so what I learned in all of that was you can't be overzealous. You know, you have to figure out what it is that you really know, and then when you embody it, you have to have a transformation process within yourself. And that transformation within yourself is going to bring out a change in the quality of your life. And through that is what people are going to begin to notice quicker than they can hear you saying, man, this shit you on some bullshit, bro. I'm telling you, man. I don't care what your mama say. I don't care what your granny say. I don't care what your old lady say, man. All y'all on some shit that ain't what it is. That's not the way. And in my spiritual immaturity, I ran off a lot of people by being overzealous and not using my zeal to work on me first, then come back with a platform with such of a good brother that we can spill and bounce this off of each other. You know what I'm saying? Now sit down, so
give thanks. Ma'at, that's what came.
The balance.
Ma'at
I had to get it.
You see what I'm saying? Well, what leaves me after the good brother go from page 60, I see over here in 61, on page 61 where I have highlighted here that thoughts. Remember we stand on this brain area here. Thoughts build nerve and brain centers.
I knew you was gonna get that. I'm glad you knew it, but I was like,
already.
I knew you was gonna get that. I knew it.
Yeah, that's the business.
Because that's what you just been talking about anyway.
You see? Thoughts build nerve and brain centers that serve as distributors of the vital substance manufactured in the body. Stay with me. Stay with us, family. Thoughts. Your thoughts build nerve and brain centers that serve as distributors of the vital substance manufactured in the body. Your vital substance. You see what I'm saying? That's going to go back into the melanin, you see what I'm saying, that's produced from the pineal, and that's going to be the what they call colostrum, that's produced from your pituitary gland. These are the vital substances, you see what I'm saying, that's manufactured in the body. And thoughts build the what needs to be, you see what I'm saying, distributed. Thoughts the vitamins in the food that we eat are stored up by the body chemistry and liberated in thought and action.
That's what you were saying before we cut these cameras on.
Exactly. That's exactly what we were talking about.
Talking about what the immune system, why it's weak.
Exactly. Because what you putting in is the type of food. You see that? The vitamins in the food, you see? And he uses the word vitamins, but we know now in our spiritual maturity that the body calls for minerals. Mm-hmm. You see? That's really what, you know what I mean? You can substitute that word vitamins for minerals. You see? Because that's what the body calls for. But let's use that word. The vitamins in the food that we eat, of course, stored up by the body chemistry and liberated in thought and action. What that means is you are what you eat. You see? If you're eating foods that's, of course, organic and real, you know what I mean? First of all, that means that they carry nutrients and minerals. Yeah, we can use those words and interchangeable with vitamins. You see? But in our advanced, you see, spiritual knowledge, we know now that vitamins is really like a corporate word. But organically, we looking for minerals. You see what I'm saying? And anything that we eat, you see, including anything that we think, you see, because now we're knowing that thoughts is food as well. This is what this is saying. This is exactly what this is telling us, that thoughts is food as well. You see what I'm saying? So we want to have a mineral-based diet going on, where we're feeding our body so it can distribute these vital, you see what I'm saying? What it say? Vital substances to these 12 different major departments in our body, because it assists us in our thought process. And of course, if you're thinking, going back to thinking whole, if you're thinking whole, you're going to act whole. You see? You see how that works, family? This is just make it plain, you see what I'm saying? God body 101 here. You see what I'm saying? When we going into the actual powers, the 12 powers of man, as you can see, we're going to constantly keep coming back to what you thinking and what you eating. Come on. Because again, the bloodstream has to be fed through these, you see what I'm saying, vital substances as well. You see? So that's why it's important to be feeding the bloodstream minerals. You see?
Another thing too, man, it makes so much sense when you think about it. As it relates to the food we put into our bodies, what did your grandmama and granddaddy or great granddaddy and great grandmama, where did their food come from? It came out of the garden.
Straight out the garden.
That they till the soil, that most importantly got the sunlight.
Yes, sir.
This food is coming with information.
Yeah,
you may not believe it, man, but it's that deep. The food traveling through the light, with the light, the sunlight, is bringing information from on high too.
Nutrients.
So if we are putting these substances, green leafy vegetables, peas, everything, man, that's been planted with a seed, that's been nurtured, you know what I'm saying, in the garden with love, we put that in our bodies. That's the vibration we're going to be on. We're going to be a lot higher and more connected to things of light, to things of a higher frequency, so that our senses won't be as cloudy. Why do they say, you know, you need vitamin D. You need sunlight more than that. Why do they say, as the most melanin-rich beings, we are the most vitamin D deficient? We're not getting in we're not in the sun no more.
Man.
We're not going outside getting in the sun. It takes 8 minutes from the sunlight to actually reach us. So you can go outside for 5 minutes and you still ain't got no light from the sun yet. Not to mention how with the I can't think of who the devil is, but they're putting the chemtrails.
Right.
That's another element that they use to block the sun.
Right.
Not only to poison spray, but they also shoot things up. I can't think of the scientific term. I might have to do the knowledge, but they have almost put something like a force field around the earth so that the sun it's harder for the sun to get in here. Now we know one thing. Who are the people of the sun?
Yeah, that's us.
We know that's us. And we know another thing. What people can't survive in the sun?
The knuckle drivers.
That's not us. So what is it about this sun?
Excuse me, the Europeans.
Yeah, the folks out there, y'all know what he was saying. I know y'all know who he talking about. But I do know too, we got some knuckle draggers too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a fact. That's
we
a
got
fact.
some too.
That's a fact now. We can't deny that.
But that sun, man, and the light from the sun is so important, not only just to hit our physical bodies, but the foods, you know what I'm saying, that were grown in the soil.
Information.
And seen and every day out there, the sun cycle goes down and sets every day, and these plants get the same cycle every day. Like they know when the time of day. You got some plants that sit down like this, and then some time of day when that sun hit them, they open all the way up, and then they'll close and the sun go down.
Sir.
They don't need to be taught to do that.
Oh no, I've witnessed it with my own eyes. Like wow,
that is being in tune with the creation,
man,
the creator, and the whole creation, or nature, or nectar, or God.
Yes.
And
come on now.
We just walking with these 12 powers so that we can, me personally, get back in tune with those powers, and be on the frequency of God.
Yes.
Because
I want it all.
Because I'm never gonna stop learning. I'm never gonna be that person.
Never ever.
That thinks I done got to a point that I can't learn no more. I may say some things that I have mastered.
Right.
But that don't mean I'm gonna stop. Jordan didn't never stop shooting in the gym, man.
That's
until
obvious.
he retired.
Yes, sir. That's obvious. Yeah, you know what I mean? You stand right there with the sun. The sun assists the melanin. You see? And again, we've been pretty much bamboozled into not appreciating the sun. You see? Going back to, the slave plantation fields, man. You see what I'm saying? And then, of course, after the slave plantation fields, we know that this whole, the workforce mimics, you see what I'm saying, the slave plantation field as it relates to keeping you working is what we're saying. And to where your circadian rhythm is disrupted because the number one deal here is getting fed, you know what I'm saying, sunlight. And that is what disrupts your circadian rhythm, meaning, you see what I'm saying, how all of these 12 organs supposed to be running in harmony. That's really basically what your circadian rhythm is. You see what I'm saying? All of God's creation within you, this grand machinery. Remember we said you can liken your body to a machine, any kind of machine. It's supposed to operate a certain way. You see? And if you've been, you see what I'm saying, as they say, working around the clock, the whole appreciation for life, it changes. You see, and then now we're talking about depression and anxiety setting in, because where there is a lack of natural sunlight, this is just how the human body responds. Depression sets in. You see, and again, when that depression sets in, going back to how let us think of a man as a king. Remember that? What the good brother went and read? When the depression set in, the sons and the daughters, you said they ain't even, they like what you call it, miscarried. They don't even get an opportunity to be born and live the life to where you can, you see what I'm saying? You can direct them on what to do in their department. You see? See how that works, family? You've miscarried your 12 powers by letting or allowing this depression to set in.
What did you just say about something about the body or the mind was like a machine or something? Or you had just said it a few minutes ago, but but right above what you started reading a minute ago, the book says this, but you just said it anyway without even reading the shit. It says, it goes right here. Every invention of man is a duplication of some activity in the human body. The explosion of gasoline in an automobile cylinder is copied from the explosion of nerve substance in the cell centers of the body. The nerve fluid is conducted to a nerve chamber corresponding to an automobile combustion chamber, where it is electrified and energy liberated. In the human body, spiritual zeal, that is enthusiasm, electrifies the nerve substance which breaks forth into energy.
Then it went into the thoughts build nerve and brain cells.
Right.
Because that was, that's key. That's key. That is showing you the power. You see what I'm saying? See, hey,
What's up with it, man? Get back out to the yard, man.
Yeah.
I'm gone, man.
You in for the night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I done had enough.
Peace, brother.
Peace, God. Be good.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. That's the good brother CA, you know what I mean? Stepping in the building, that's what we do, that's family. Trap Talk, one of the Trap Talk kings.
Yeah, man. Press box anchor.
Yeah, CA. We want to go and shout out Yuku too.
Got
The
to.
Gap Tooth Guru.
Got to.
You know what I mean? While we at it. You know what I'm saying?
Got a new video up on YouTube just from last night. It uploaded probably about 3 hours ago. I think it got up. But
Right
we
on.
was in there last night. So, you know, we had to keep the vibe going.
Yeah.
And let y'all walk with us, man.
Yeah.
With zeal.
Yeah, with zeal. But that's key right there when it say, you know what I'm saying? It's like a combustion. That's what it's trying to, you know, demonstrate to you. That this zeal, this is how the zeal work, like the combustion of gasoline in an automobile. That's how, like the good brother say, that's why you need to operate in wisdom. Because that explosion can be too much. Like he and I both.
Right.
Like he and I both have experience. You know, it's just, you put a little too much on. I done had a loved one tell me, hold on, wait a minute, you taking me too fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know how we just be full of it and just want to just, you know what I mean? We on a roll and want to just get it out. She said, you taking me too fast. You keep saying, you know what I mean? I had, you know, just going to too many different areas of the decoding.
Right.
Because you want them to decode it right then, right there with you.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And there's no way possible that they are going to be able to decode just right then in that one session with you, because you so full of this zeal, meaning enthusiasm, family. That's what zeal is. I've learned something. My consciousness has raised, so I'm excited to share it with my loved ones. That's what the zeal is. And again, like we both are saying, we've experienced being overzealous. You see what I'm saying? Meaning, our nerve centers is exploding like this gasoline.
Little gasket, man.
In this automobile.
Shit.
You see what I'm saying?
I had to rebuild my whole motor.
We mean well, we meant well. I'm talking about really meant well, like for real, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's exactly what that is and what that symbolizes. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have the wisdom of incorporating the mayat, balancing it out, and you know then that of course goes back to having the discernment to where you know what I'm saying, it's only so far that you could take this individual,
right,
because you know we all come from this bastardized school of thought, this perverted, evil, you see what I'm saying, knuckle dragging ass school of thought that was implemented on our people, as we can see, to take your power away from you and have you exercising or practicing or participating in a culture that is of a low vibration, because it comes from a man that had his woman and his woman and his wife murdered. That's facts, fam. Ain't no way around history, science, and law. Ain't no way around. And that's the beauty of this thing. Because see, when you get into the historic side of this, that's how you able to crack the codes better. With less emotion. You see? And the wisdom kicks in to where you're not wasting no time with the emotions. You going and dealing with this thing in truth. You see? Now, since we here, I'm just going to open up and read earlier what I read to the good brother in this book. This is the Zodiac and the Sauce of Salvation. This is one of my go-to books.
Say that title again.
The Zodiac and the Salts of Salvation.
Yeah, man. We also be dropping these book titles, man. Go get these books.
George W. Carey is the author. Him and Inez Eudora Perry. You see, this is like a you should have this right along with your Bible in your studies. You see, when you're studying, you should have this to cross-reference a lot of things. I'm going to read this real quick out of the book of Aries, because it is Aries season, you see. And right now, as we speak, the moon is in Aries as well. So we got a double Aries vibration going on, so that's why we going in. Because Aries represents the head, you see. The Aries, the ram, the precious lamb of God. Look what the good brother said in here. In order to obtain facts, see, we're talking about history, science, and law. In order to obtain facts, it is absolutely essential first to trace to their origin the meanings of the words used in expressing the problem under consideration. So what that means, family, if we wanna define Christianity, that word, absolutely, you see, you remember he say, in order to obtain facts, it is absolutely essential first to trace to their origin the meanings of the words. So when we do that, let me go ahead and read the rest of it. To trace, in order to obtain facts, it is absolutely essential first to trace to their origin the meanings of the words used in expressing the problem under consideration. Therefore, their etymology must be studied. Their etymology. You see, we've been saying that word since we started this series, family. Etymology. Remember? E-T-Y-mology. M-O-L-O-G-Y. This is the infallible key by means of which knowledge of anything may be obtained. You see? Etymology. Why? Because in a language that we speak, remember, the English language is the baby language on the earth planet. You see? English. So why are we saying it? Like the good brother said in the book here, it's imperative that you study the etymology of that word. You see? When we say Jesus, we can define Jesus' etymology, you see, in an etymological sense, meaning we're going to take Jesus back to his mother's womb. That word we're saying. We're taking that word back to the place that it was born. You see? And that's how we will be able to define it in truth. This is what we're saying here. It's important that we do these things because the words that we speak, again, the English language is the baby language on the earth. It had to go through other languages to be what it is. You see? Now that's important because again, we told y'all before that some words that we speak, you see, like the word kid, once again, that word kid, K-I-D, in the Holy Bible does not mean a baby like come out of, like we did, like we came out of our mama. That kid is talking about a baby goat.
A goat.
When you put it in, its proper perspective.
Bad.
You see? So that's just one word. And we can go on and on with all of these words that we speak, you know what I mean, period. Just on a day-to-day basis. The importance of it is this. The word is God, remember? You see? So it's important to know what you're saying, because sometimes you could be speaking words that are going against who you really think you are. You know what I mean? You see? So that's the whole key here. When we saying it's very imperative that you resort to etymology when it relates to, like we saying, religion. Because again, the Roman Emperor Constantine, he knew this. You see, it was so many other religious books, religious script that was left out. You see what I'm saying? On purpose, because this beastie DNA wanted to do what it did, and it did it. It took over, man. Again, they don't like women. They do not like women. You see? So therefore, this is a spiritual entity that was passed on to our ancestors, because it's obvious, because we know that in all of our families, I'm going to say that, I know it's safe to say, in all of our families, we have family members that have been molested in these churches, and it needs to be exposed, and we need to not allow it to keep happening. You see? With Generation Y. Because we already got enough babies. We got grown adults right now that have been affected from these churches. I'm specifically talking about the churches, because again, this spirit is a spirit. You see? You got to have the power, you see, to build up your spiritual strength to fight against evil. And I don't care who it is. You see? If that baby is being violated in any kind of way, that individual needs to be dealt with. That individual, the baby needs to be feeling comfortable enough to speak with somebody, communicate this to somebody within the church family or just the family period.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We should not have a large number of loved ones, be it by blood or just friends of the family, that have been molested, you see, violated from this spirit that come from these Romans, these knuckle draggers, these evil, beastly people that, again, do not like a woman. Look at this, family. Do you remember the movie The Burning Bed with Sarah Fawcett? If you don't remember the movie Burning Bed, let me walk you through it real quick before we get through here. And of course, this, with modern technology, if you don't know, you can Google The Burning Bed and see what we're talking
1984,
about.
when it came out. I'm already on it.
See there? 1984. Farrah Fawcett was the leading actress, I believe.
Are you right?
You see? You see? Because 84, I remember watching this. 84, I turned 8 years old. You see? I'll be, again, the big 4-4 at the end of July. So this just letting you know how my brain works. They say I got a brain like an elephant. That's what they always told me. Well, you remember everything. You see what I'm saying? And I give thanks for that. Now, with that being said, The Burning Bed was a movie about an abusive husband that stayed drunk. He stayed on that drink. He kept a wife, beat her on. You see where we get this knowledge from, where we get this form of talk?
That's cold.
In 1984, the good brother just said, correct?
Yep.
The leading male actor is an abusive husband. He gets drunk, he smoked them goddamn squares, and he beats the shit out of his wife. That's what he do. He blacks her eye. She's so afraid of him, man. You see what I'm saying? She is so afraid of him. So anybody that, you know, can remember watching The Burning Bed, you can go back with me right now, because I can feel, you know what I'm saying, how that woman felt. He kept what we call a wife beater on. That's what a tank is really what we're gonna call it, the proper term. It's an A-tank. We already know, but we call him a wife beater because watch this, family. TV, you see, Hollywood has taught us a lot. This European man, did not like his woman. He kept what we call a wife beater on. He stayed drunk. The burning bed, the significance of it, she set that goddamn on bed on fire. She got tired of him abusing her, and she eventually set that bed on fire while he was in it. Now, why are we saying all this? Because my people adopted beastie ways of living from these people. That's where you got abusing our women from. That's a learned behavior. Just like it's a learned behavior, the goddamn gonna eat anything of the pig. Because you know that the Holy Bible speaks totally against swine and ingesting it. You see how this works? We constantly are adapting the enemy's ways. You see? Because we all know that we have examples in our family of an uncle or a daddy or a grandfather that could fit the category of this man that we talking about in the burning bed, that was an alcoholic and abusive to his woman. Now, why are we saying this? Because when you go back into history, into our organic culture, we love our women. We're not abusing our women. When you go back, Sankofa, you see, that means go back to the beginning, Sankofa. Then come back on up here to 2020. Because that's imperative that we do that. Because when you go back Sankofa, you see, you find out that ye are gods. We have not been, again, abusing our women. That is an adopted behavior. You see? Just like, peace be upon him, Il Malik Shabazz would say, you drinking that drink and smoking that square because the white man doing it. You see him doing it. And when we go back into history, anytime we looking at some old footage, Lean, watch this. Anytime we looking at vintage footage, like interviews and stuff of what we call the old celebrities and whatever, everybody is smoking a square.
Yep.
Even the interviewer,
yep,
they is smoking a square.
Yep.
Everybody.
Even in court.
In court, in the goddamn on restaurants, etc. James Baldwin, you could. It seemed like in every James Baldwin interview, he on the square and the interviewer is on the square. We're just saying that, we're just bringing this up, family, because we need to key in on the fact that we have adopted a riotous way of living. We've adopted it from going back to the Roman emperor. That's where it all started, family. We got to know that. The Council of Nicaea. You see what I'm saying? That's what we got to go back to when it really got messed up, man. And then we go into, of course, this corporation being able to, like we're saying, feed our imagination with Hollywood. You see how that works? Because, of course, Hollywood giving you codes. But like we spoke about before, how you going to crack the code when your ass is, you see what I'm saying, you steady eating from the devil's table. You ain't even attempted to get up so you can see what's really going on. You've been lost in the sauce. You see?
So you thinking all this is entertainment. You see? And it ain't there's no symbology in it. The way it's some codes that got to be cracked. You got to see through this, family. You see? Again, this go way back, man. We talking about the psychological damage here that's been implemented on my people. Because again, a nation cannot rise no higher than its woman. That's why, you see? That's why this Roman spiritual entity, you see, that has crept into the business did what it did, because it has intelligence. You see? These Roman people were taught by the gods, but they chose. See, we still ain't through with these lessons. In these lessons, you have, out of the 12 powers of man, power. Power is a power. And what we'll do, we know this now, as human beings, we'll abuse our power. When we realize that we have gotten power, we've attained power, we will abuse it.
Damn.
So again, these knuckle draggers know the way because they were taught the way, but they chose. You see how this working, family? Free will. They chose to live a low vibrational lifestyle. They chose that. That's a choice. You see? And we have moved into a place of being manipulated by what they chose, and then we acting it out. And now, again, we have generations being traumatized, and there's no communication lines open. Again, going back to what we was talking about earlier about having a fear of God. How the hell that makes sense? To fear God. Again, I don't want my children to be scared of me. That's goofy. To me, makes no sense. Because I got 4 daughters, 1 son. You see? Now for me, it don't matter either one, but my daughters, you know what I'm saying, my son for sure, I want open lines of communication where he, you know what I'm saying, feel comfortable enough to come tell me if he been tampered with. You see? But of course, my daughters, I be, you see what I'm saying? There's gonna be some issues, man. And I need, again, that line of communication open. So if I need to bust a nigga head, you see, excuse my language. But if I need to bust one, because again, these perverted spirits should not be going unchecked. I don't give a damn if it's uncle, great uncle, daddy, granddad, whoever, pastor, associate pastor, whoever.
You touch mine, you better be ready to die.
You see?
Have your suit picked out.
Time to kill. Samuel L. Jackson.
Have your suit picked out, man.
And we, again, we don't have enough of this type of energy within our community, within our nation, you see, because it's been so much abuse, you see what I'm saying, over the years to where the babies have chosen to attempt to deal with it, but dealing with it in low vibrational ways. What are we saying? Getting saturated in the money, like shit, I got the money, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Getting saturated in alcohol, hard drugs, some is porn, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the babies that were molested, they so sexual, you know what I mean? Because they feel like their introduction to sex was, you know what I mean, so horrific to where, hell, just, you know what I mean?
Anything.
This is what it is, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just a sex toy anyway. You see what I'm saying? And that is so unfair. That we have generations of babies that hadn't been able to deal with this trauma in a therapeutic way, in a holistic therapeutic way. You see, that's so unfair.
That's so unfair. And the reason for us bringing it up is, of course, to raise awareness to this topic and for us to get serious about this topic and go from here, you see, and start to open up these lines of communication, you see, to where the healing can start. Because we got, again, grown people that still stuck in that space where they were molested. They still stuck there. They could never graduate. And it go past just molestation. A lot of the family have been mentally abused. Your ugly ass. Look just like your ugly ass dad. Sorry, you ain't gonna be shit just like he was. Sit your dumb ass down. You just a dummy. See that's mental abuse. You see? And of course, we get it. We get why the abuser was abusing, because they the law has it. Hurt people. But somebody has to break the dysfunctional cycle. So that's what we is. We come in at. We raising the flag. We raising the flag of awareness on it right now. You see? Because I know for a fact that this is a topic that we don't touch this.
No.
We don't touch, because I've done my homework. We don't touch on no, what we call conscious platform. We're not touching on this, man, like we really need to touch on it. And the reason for touching on it, for me, is because I was raised in the church, man. And I do not like the bullshit that go on when it comes to these babies, man. You see? Period. I've seen it. All praise is due to Allah that I ain't never been through it. You see? I've never been abused. I'm going to say mentally or physically. I didn't grow up in that type of environment. All praise due to Allah for that. And my mother for being who she was and putting me in a safe environment. Whether she was consciously doing it or not, it happened. I would like, again, was raised in church, and I can't say that I was molested or tampered with. That's a fact. You see? But I know too many people that cannot say that. Including, we know these, you know what I mean? We got celebrities on the record. Quote unquote, celebrities, gospel in particular. But recently, I was just listening to Sugar Ray Leonard on Hot Boxing with Mike. And Sugar Ray Leonard told the world on Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson that he was molested by his boxing trainer. You see? Now I'm free to say that about the brother because it's already out on the air. He already said it. So it ain't like I'm telling his business or something that he, you know what I mean, he ain't already said it. And I'm saying that because this is a very important topic to me. Second son, straight up.
I said when the R. Kelly shit hit last year, and everybody was so mad at R. Kelly. It was the thing of, you know, why are we just now talking about this? Why are we making a big deal with it being right now with R. Kelly? And then I thought about it. I said, if we were to talk about it, I made a tweet about it. It's somewhere in there, but I said so much to say, you better be ready to bust somebody's head in your family.
There you have it.
And that's why we don't want to talk about it.
There you have it.
Because we know it's the little dirty secret that we try to cover up.
There you have it.
But you gotta raise them covers up, man, and to really clean the house completely. You can't just continue to sweep it in the corner.
There you have it. Now I don't even. You say now when I go back and review this episode, I'll be able to see how we got here, but I don't even remember how we got here. Oh, it was because, you see, this is important. This is how we got here. Because we was talking about Constantine, the Roman emperor, and the Romans, and this spirit of they don't like women. See, that's how we got here. You see?
They don't like women. They like little boys.
And then just to
And that
say
ain't
this,
right, man.
Just to say, and I mean, it really go back to where we started at too, because not only that we know we don't like women, and we also know that we have taken on the ways of our oppressor,
Right.
so much so that we gonna figure out a way to damn near defend them.
Exactly.
Let's close the doors of the church.
Yeah. That's about that time.
Boom.
That's a good spot right there.
Again, man.
We are one. Yeah. That's a good spot to close the doors right there. Cause we there now, family. Y'all see what's going on? We right there. Yeah, we right there. And just to end it, you see, it's very imperative that if you've been rolling with us this far, stay with us. That's all we saying. You see what I'm saying? Stay with us, because watch where this is going. It's all going to, see, what we trying to take the family to is like the good brother was saying about zeal and being overzealous. We're using wisdom now, so we taking the proper steps. Because we're trying to get you into the God-body mindset to where we can get to where we're manifesting in the material world, family. Mansions. You see? Not for play. For real. Seriously. You see? Godly mansions. Whatever, as it relates to your home, that's a form of a mansion. Your business, that's a form of a mansion. Your health, you see what I'm saying? Holistic, that's what we're trying to move to, you see? To a higher ground, you see? And of course, your mind got to be in a certain place. You got to know who you are so you can manifest it to you see? And we all want to do it together. That's how we say, because it takes a nation, you see? It takes a village. And again, you're not gonna dismiss my mother. That's that's homosexual. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is now. You're trying to, you see what I'm saying? And again, we're not lifestyle bashing. We're just breaking down the symbology in how, you see what I'm saying, this thing works. We cannot disregard natural law. I mean, you can attempt to, but you know, you're doing yourself a disservice because you won't progress spiritually. You see, you just like they chose to do. You remember? We say they chose to live a low vibrational life because they know the way. They were taught the way by the gods. You see? So that's all we're saying is we're trying to get to a specific place in our mind, you see, so we can manifest again what we need to manifest. And again, you're not going to leave my mother out of the Trinity. You see, you're not going to do that. You're not going to say Father, Son, Holy Ghost, or Father, Son, Holy Spirit. No, you can't do that. That's out of that's a flag on the play, baby. Flag on the play. 15-yard penalty, whatever. You know what I mean? Disqualified. You know what I mean? There ain't no penalty. You disqualified from the game. Let's say that. You out of there. You can't even participate no more. Trying to take my mama out of the Trinity. You know what I mean? That's disrespectful. So again, of course, when you get a spiritual entity that's pushing that narrative, we already know that there's some faultiness in that game, because we all get here through our mother's womb. There's no way around that. My daddy ain't held me in now part of his stomach. Okay? And I appreciate him for, again, the magic stick action. You see? I can appreciate him for that. But the womb that I sat in, you see, comes from my mother. So therefore, a holy trinity, meaning whole, is mother, father, child.
End of discussion. It ain't the end of discussion. It's a period, exclamation point. We will continue this good walk, good talk.
Walk with me.
Another timestamp. because you know, like you said, it may be another 24 hours before this is uploaded. But this is March the 25th, 2020.
Episode 6. We
The
in the
season,
mix.
the season's changing outside. You know, the pollen is falling down, and we are in our real new year when things are starting to grow again, and the leaves return green again, and so it feels good, man, that to know that the seeds that we have planted, you know, in our minds, we are now beginning to see, you know, they begin to come up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And sprout.
Coming to fruition.
So, you know, I just look at it like, you know, make sure